Carnage. Let the Venom 2. Let there be carnage. Just what I'm calling it. Yeah. Let there be carnage. Um, what to say about this movie? What to say about this movie? Let me put my hood on. I gotta start classic look. Let there be carnage. What's is the first? Let's start from the beginning, shall we? And work our way down. There will be. Should I say the spoilers of this movie? Mm, just in case. It's been in theaters, probably out in streaming device by now. If you haven't seen this movie, just not watch this stream. I might try to avoid it, but in case I do end up spoiling the movie, I'm going to apologize ahead of time. You need to click off just in case. With that being said, let's talk about this movie. This movie is alright. I mean, if I were to give you my rating right away, I would say it's a 6.5 because it bored me first. It confused me the first 20 minutes of the movie. It got confusing up until we figured out who Carnage was going to end up being. It was weird. I mean, I didn't understand any of motivations of any of the characters at all. The cops, they're somehow suspicious of Eddie Brock, even though yeah, that gave no indication in the first one of that being a case thing. Um, what else got to say? It's not a movie that you're gonna remember after a week. It's not terrible. It's serviceable. And the reason I say it's serviceable because it was funny. Venom, the CEO, was the funniest character in the entire 20 minutes that of the movie. If it wasn't for him, the movie would be boring for the first 20 minutes. He constantly wants to eat people, which is hilarious. Let me eat their heads. It's like, are you serious? Um, it's funny in the minute they get into a little spat and they get an argument over internal conflict for whatever reason. They just threw that in there for whatever reason. I don't understand why they weren't fighting in the first place. So I want peace. I'm tired of you being in my. I thought he was the main reason why you were living. uh, remember in the first one where, um, I guess the symbiote can't. Remember the first one where they said the first symbiote can't live without being in somebody. What happened to that? Well, he did try to take over a lot of other people, but they end up dying after a few minutes. He said he was the only person, other than the shopkeeper, by the way. Which find that out later. All right, acting like a little 2 years, like in a relationship or something. Best friends. My goodness. Just like weird. This is weird Venom. This is Venom. It's not the Venom from the comics. I'm gonna guarantee you that it does not feel like the Venom from the comics. This in this symbiotic thing that mm, he's real being murderous and violent. He's technically an anti-hero because he causes people to go crazy. That's Eddie Brock. Yeah, Eddie Brock was at first, but in the if you read any of the comics, I'm not sure if it's more accurate, but I highly doubt it. Um, it it drove Spider-Man insane to the point where he had to reject him. So they make him into a good guy in this one, like technically a hero. So that's not necessarily thing. Even was when Spider-Man became Venom, he wasn't necessarily a good guy. He was more chaotic, neutral ish. I would say almost neutral evil. Going around eating people. I mean, it wasn't like even Spider-Man had to like try to hold him in some, but even he couldn't keep it for long. He had to give it up. That I didn't make him do evil stuff. If you played the video games, it turns Spider-Man to evil Spider, dark black. He's more powerful, but he can't control the murderous part of the Venom symbiote. Why it's sort of played as a sort of a semi-villain character, but in these in adaptations, he's sort of a good guy-ish. Kid, we call him chaotic good, and but a great departure from his original characterization. But let's get back to the movie. The movie it starts off slow. Then you get the Carnage, who ends up being a really he ends up being a Carnage. It was well. Let's just talk about the host. He's possessing. The host was a serial killer, a psychopath, a guy who's going around killed his mom, grandma, and his father, who he said was abusing him to gather sympathy for the villain. I mean, the bad guy. I don't know why he tried to do it. I don't even do it well. I just wanted a friend who killed people to be friends. Um, they tried to give him sympathy by making him a victim of abuse, all kinds of things. He was bullied. He went to school of unwanted children. He was bullied there, and then at one point he was saved by an X-Men character. I call her X-Men character because technically there's only one possible reason why she would have sonic breath powers, and it's if she was a mutant. He was saved by a mutant, which makes more sense because they're trying to mix X-Men with Venom. Um, Unfortunately, when he became Carnage and they got back together, it would be not necessarily the best match since we all know from the first one that the symbiotes are very sensitive to sound, and with her being Sonic Boom, Sonic Breath, that she's screaming and he ends up almost dying. I was like, you dummy thing. I mean, did he not know? Ask him if his girlfriend had any powers that might be advantageous to him. Turn, Turns out Carnage is a seed from Venom, which, like, I'm gonna keep going back to the comics. You remember in the cartoon? Well, not the comics. I don't read it. I remember the cartoon, mostly the cartoon of Spider-Man, especially this part of Spider-Man was my favorite one. Carnage, I, I'm not mistaken, in the anime series, Carnage was, yeah, like in the movie, was a piece of Venom. I forgot how he developed that he got like corrupted by some type of other substance, and it turned him into the red version of himself. He said, "That's the red one." He's more murderous than Venom himself. It seems to be. But the only bad thing is you don't see this thing until like near the end of the movie. Like he don't really does much killing carnage. He doesn't the carnage type of carnage he does is more like property destruction. He kills a few people. And he does do what he do, but it doesn't come until like the last half of the movie. By the time he really gets going, it's near the end of the movie. And technically, they don't even bother the good guy until near the end of the movie anyway. So it turns into a hostage situation, and then I want to kill my father. Yeah, they play that. So he said, no, father. There's a red one. I'm gonna die. Oh, I said, if it in a serious situation, they gotta play jokes in here. Play jokes all the time, even in serious situations. He said, "That's a red one. We're going to die." Just like in the first one. Oh, oh crap, we're going to die. Okay, it was funny. That I give you that. But man, is being funny in serious situations doesn't make you not take the situation that much serious. Doesn't actually harness serious taking this thing actually that serious. Yeah. But I digress. In the end, I'm not going to tell you how it ends. Like I said, I don't need to because there is a surprise scene at the end. I'm gonna get you leave yet to you who shows up at the end to tease another. Probably going to be an add-on. It's probably going to be a joint movie this time involving these two characters. Yeah. This is the Venom movie. I want to tell you, it's Venom versus somebody else whom you may be very well familiar with, and this guy does not look like the usual guy they used to play this guy. It, um, maybe they couldn't get the guy, actual guy, but we'll see what they use for this version of that guy. But in the end, this movie is pretty alright. I'll give it a 6.5, a B, a solid B. And might I add, my future Twitches, gaming Twitch, if you're watching my gaming Twitches, my wrestling one specifically, I'm doing a little change. You see, I'm only gonna do 2 shows instead of 4. I'm working on that change now. I have one female wrestling show and one male, mostly custom player show. Because there's 1,000 shows with WB superstars only with no custom character. I'm gonna be doing unique one who goes only showcasing my custom characters. I don't have no more room for any um, requested ones, which I don't do no more. That's on there, but because I'm actually full and I can't make no more characters, so we're gonna do what ones we got. We like the new setup because it's going to be all mostly compute CPU versus CPU um, matches that I can tell you. No, it's enjoyable. The randomized matches because find it interesting if the champions have to fight somebody different every time. It might get the same, like to fight the same people multiple times in multiple times if they win. Keyword is because it's computer simulated. They might fight the same player more than once. It might be in a single match all the time, but technically speaking, if they are able to win a shot again and again, it might happen. But because you have a smaller roster, it definitely might happen. I'm gonna say my 48 characters is not a small feat. It's just right amount of players for a show. But I'm trying to make it be show to be like twice a week. It keeps me from getting burnout because there's other games I want to stream outside of wrestling. 4 shows is a little much, so we cut it down to 2 a week. So I gotta edit in here instead of making an entirely new video because I'm not gonna be saying that much to make a second video. So I decided to add it in here. Be sure to look at for this video on YouTube, which will definitely be streaming after I end on YouTube. Be added to YouTube. Wrestling is gonna start being added to YouTube. Most of my games are on YouTube as well. Be sure to check out my YouTube channel. It's same as my Twitch channel, DF Gaming and Reviews. Just so y'all know. And that's it for the review. Until next time, keep gaming.